Good morning and welcome to another vlog. I don't know how long we will hang out. A day, a couple days, a week. We will see. Ira is hungry. The boys just woke up. Levi is already eating. He's having apples that he picked at the apple orchard with his dad on Saturday. They went to the apple orchard and he's having some cotton candy grapes. These things are delicious and they actually taste like cotton candy, which is insane. Now, the more that you eat of them, the more they just start tasting like green grapes. The first couple bites, it's weird. It's good though. But it tastes just like fresh cotton candy, except it's cold and fresh cotton candy is warm. But you know what I'm saying? Like, first bite into it, it tastes like a burst of cotton candy in your mouth. It's delicious. So for Ira, I'm making him up a toaster strudel, and he's gonna have some cotton candy grapes as well. And I think I'm gonna have grapes and apples too. I've been a little backed up lately, TMI, sorry. So hopefully some fruit will help move things along. So some fun things to, my hair is looking, I don't know. I'm kind of liking it though. Like I slept with, they're not quite French braids. It's like 2-strand braid, but it's like flipped under itself. I slept on that, so my hair has a little bit of body and wave today. They definitely went loose while I was sleeping, which I'm okay with. I thought maybe it'd be something tighter, but you know what? I'm okay with having a little bit of wave in my hair instead of it being just like pinned straight like it normally is. It's how it comes naturally. My hair cannot hold a curl for nothing, especially if it's like a heat curl. As soon as I get done with one side of my head, the other side's gone flat. It just, I don't even own, well, I thought I got rid of my curling iron, but I found one in a drawer the other day. I don't know if it works though, but they don't work for my hair anyways. My hair does not hold curl unless it is permed, which is very damaging, or if I sleep in braids that are super tight, and then I can have wave and curl, but I will not work with a curling iron. Just won't. So, not all things are for everybody. Let's see if I can put you in a cabinet for the moment. My tripod got broken. I made the mistake of leaving it up with the kids, and it was just the tripod. My phone, I film on my phone. My phone was not on it, and I've been filming in the dining room, and I went to go to my bedroom to do something, and the kids were awake, and I just left it out. I didn't think anything of it, and it got knocked over, and it looked like one of the legs got smashed. Like it was just, they're like, I can show you in a minute. They're like little aluminum poles, and it's like right at the joint. It's like one of them got smashed in. Not really sure how that happened or who did it. Could have been a kid, it could have been a dog. I don't really know. But that is the end of my tripod, so now I need to get another one. And then I use these smaller tripods a lot that are, I think they're called like octopus tripods if you look them up on Amazon. They're really good. Last one I bought was about $13, but I think it needs replaced. I'm not even sure where it's at right now. So, you need to get some new tripods, which is fine because I need to spend some money towards my YouTube channel before the end of the year so that I can use it as tax write-offs. Otherwise, Uncle Sam is going to be wanting a pretty penny this year because I actually made a decent amount on YouTube this year. I'm not exactly sure how much, but at the start of the year I was making around 300 or 400. Yeah, somewhere around the 3 to 4, and now I'm making, I haven't quite hit 600. The most I made was $597, like almost 600, and then I made a 575. So it's been kind of dropping, and right now, like, you don't get your official payout number until the 15th of the month, but right now on the analytics it looks like it's like 487, but it might come back up, so we'll see. It fluctuates a lot, which makes it kind of unreliable and kind of scary to live on. Which I don't know how people do it. I mean, they must be making a lot more than I am to just feel confident enough to quit their jobs and just do YouTube. Speaking of jobs, I am back to work at mine. I spent this past weekend helping with I've never come out and said what store I work at, and I'm not sure that I should, just out of like safety reasons. But the store that I work at has different departments, and the food samples where I work is still furloughed. They have not brought us back. But they are letting us come into the store and help clean or organize or sort things, like I think it's called zoning, when like you organize shelves and pull cardboard boxes off, or just anything that they need help with. So the clothing department needed to have the department ready for pictures by Monday for, I don't know, reports or whatever, just to show that like things are being done correctly to send into corporate. I don't really understand it, but they had one person working there. I guess nobody wants to do clothing, and she needed help. She had like 70 boxes to unpack. She'd gone on vacation for a week, and so whoever was doing the clothing department while she was gone did like the bare minimum. So like every table and every rack of clothes had to be restored. The racks of clothes weren't bad. There was like one that needed to be spruced up. The racks were fine, but the tables clothes were set on like were a mess. Like everything had to be taken off, refolded, restacked, reorganized. Space had to be made for the new clothes because she had 70 boxes that needed to be unpacked, nobody touched. And so I was all weekend, I mean Saturday and Sunday, the 2 days that I work, I showed up, one day I showed up at like 8:45, and that's when I started helping with clothing. I didn't know this big project was happening. And then she asked like, how early can you come in on Sunday? Because she shows up like 4 in the morning. What, bud?
That matches my bubby.
What about your bubby?
That matches.
That matches?
Yes.
Oh, because you both have on yellow shirts?
That matches my bubby.
It sure does. So, yeah, she was like, how early can you come in? Because she comes in at like 4 in the morning, and I was like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8. Like, I'm not a morning person. But Ira woke up at like 5 in the morning, so I got there by 6. And it's only a 6-hour shift, but she really appreciated the help, and so that's what I did all weekend, was sort and fold and organize and unbox clothing. And then the very end of Sunday, they had me running pallet jacks, which is just like, maybe I can insert a picture if you don't know what I'm talking about. But like you insert them into the pallets, and then you crank it up, and then you have to drag it to wherever you're putting it, and I had to keep taking it back to the loading docks for the empty pallets for them to do whatever they do with those. And then there's boxes we couldn't get to, so I had to run those back. And I feel like I am a dangerous driver trying to pull a pallet jack. I can't tell you how many things I hit on the way back to the zone, to the loading zone, like other displays. And I can't tell you how many people stopped me to ask where things were. Like, I have never had so many people consecutively ask me where things are located in the store until Sunday, when I'm carrying this giant heavy pallet jack behind me, loaded down with pallets or boxes that's super heavy, and they want me to like stop on a dime and be like, where's the Powerade at? Where's the Coke at? And I'm like, do you not see this big giant thing behind me? Like, that's the least of my concern. Wander around a little more, you'll find it. I don't care. Like, of course I didn't say that to the customers. You can't say that to the customers, but I'm like, there are other people working here besides me. Go find one of them who's not carrying this giant heavy thing that they're having a hard time controlling and steering. Okay, like, it's my first day using one of these. I'm gonna kill somebody. Anyway, a little dramatic, kind of not. It's how I felt on the inside. Nobody died, thankfully. Nobody got hurt, but I'm not looking to pull one of those again anytime soon. So that backs us back into whatever I said earlier about finances. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. I felt like it would have been a good segue, and I should have done it in the beginning, but now I don't remember what it was that I said. So we are officially, I guess, starting to look at houses, which is exciting and kind of scary. If you've been following me for a while, you know it's something we've been talking about. There's a house we are particularly interested in. It's out in the country. I showed it in a vlog from the Zillow picture a couple vlogs ago. We've gotten more information on it. It seems, well, it hasn't been confirmed, but from me doing some digging, we need to go feed Ira. But from me doing some digging around, it seems that the house fell into foreclosure. Sorry, my hand is in the way of the camera. The house fell into foreclosure back in July, and I'm not sure if it's still in like the pre-foreclosure stage or if it is officially foreclosed on, but it looks abandoned. It looks abandoned. Zillow calls it a vacant home property. Trulia says it's down to the studs on the inside. We're really thinking it's probably a thing of like the original tenants you know, went to foreclosure and probably trashed the place and possibly gutted it. We did go look at it. Like, we haven't seen the inside, but, and I've mentioned it in another video, so it's like the same thing. But like, I went to the house, sat in my car and looked at it, and from one of the windows in the house you could see studs. So, and if you're not from the United States, you don't know what I'm talking about. Studs is the framework for housing. Our houses are built out of wood. So you have wood studs in the house that are, you know, the supports of everything and what you hang your drywall on. So you could see that. And the yard is completely overgrown. The gravel driveway is, you can't even see the rocks anymore because it's so overgrown with gravel. So we're expecting it to be a bit rough. Our real estate agent is supposed to be finding out more information on it to see about like us getting to go see it. But she has to figure out who's in possession of the house, because right now it's like it might be in pre-foreclosure, so it might be still in control of the original owners, or it may be in control of a bank. So you gotta figure out, you know, who's got the keys, who's in control. But my job right now is to see about getting pre-approval for a mortgage. So we got all of our pay stubs submitted last night. Sorry, the camera's a little shaky. I've got you set up on a box and it's not the most sturdy thing, and we got little feet running around and shaking the table. So, yeah, for getting pre-approved for a mortgage, which we don't even know a price on this house right now. So we're just seeing if we can even get approved and what we would get approved for.
Socks for my birthday.
Get what for your birthday?
That's 4 socks.
4 socks.
That's 4 socks.
We'll see. We'll have to put it on your list.
It's right there.
Okay, it's already there. Good job. We'll see.
Let's get the pen.
So,
And the pen is right there.
oh, you're still eating. Still got a mouthful. So, what they need for a pre-approval for a mortgage is they need the last 2 years worth of your tax information. They need your last 2 pay stubs from all jobs, which we are going to be waiting until this Friday to send in my second pay stub, because my last pay stub was normal because I'd worked all weekend, but then the pay stub before that was like $1.98 because I did an online training video for my job, but otherwise I've been furloughed and hadn't made any money. So we're going to wait until this Friday to send in my last pay stub. Send in everything from my Google pay stubs, from my husband's job, and then 1 pay stub from my job. So we got all that done. So now I need to bring in, and my husband sent in a copy of his ID. I'm gonna have them run a copy of my ID when I drop this stuff off. So driver's license, pay stubs. They need 2 years worth of your tax information and bank statements. They need like 2 full months worth of bank statements. So I had to go do those, get all my bank statements yesterday from 2 of our banks. We have 3 banks. And so one of the banks we're getting a loan from, so they're just gonna pull the statements for us. So I need to go drop those off after Levi goes to school. Are you gonna take it or not? I don't know what you're doing. So gotta go do that. And then I don't know if that means that she can start the process without my last pay stub, since she's got all those other pay stubs, or if she's gonna wait until this coming Friday. I'm not sure. So I'm hoping to find out sooner rather than later, but again, we haven't gotten any information on the house yet, so I don't know how much it matters. But I'm really hoping this works out. Like, I don't know. I'm so excited about the possibility of this working. What is that look? Somebody is a bundle of energy this morning. Don't, hey. Don't try to break it. I don't care that you're running back and forth, but don't be hitting the door that hard. I don't want to break it. But, yeah. So, this place is likely going to be very damaged, and we are aware of that. We're hoping we can get it for a heck of a deal. Its normal appraisal is $189,000. But it was a foreclosure. It looks like the people who owned it originally and who went into foreclosure owed $144,000 left on it. So that's probably what the bank is going to be looking to get. But if the people who originally had it, if they gutted it, which it seems like they may have, it's gonna need a lot of work. So I'm hoping that we can get it for maybe $75,000 or less. That might be wishful thinking. I do not know. But there's a loan called a 203K loan, which I don't know a whole lot about. I'm still learning about it. But it's pretty much a government-funded mortgage that will allot you the money to buy the home, along with money for repairs up to like $300,000. Varies depending on what area you're in. So it has to be anything permanently done to the house. So like if the kitchen needs to be remodeled, or it needs new flooring, or the walls are all gone, you know? And so we're gonna be applying for that. I guess they're a little bit complicated. Like I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. This all comes down to us being approved for mortgage at all to begin with. I don't see why we wouldn't be approved, but that's what's gonna come down to, is us getting approved. So, and if we decide on this house, because we have to get the pre-approval first, then we find out if we want the house, and then we'll have to have people come in and do appraisals to see what's it gonna cost for, you know, all the new walls. What's it gonna cost for, let's say they gutted the kitchen, you need all new cabinets and sinks, and what if they gutted the bathrooms, you need bathtubs and toilets, and what if they ripped out the wiring, so now you gotta rewire the place. And I know this is sounding very expensive, and it's going to be very expensive, but my dad is, conveniently enough, a licensed contractor and a licensed plumber, and he knows how to run electrical wire, and he was helping us with our garage. So Mike and I have proven that we know how to at least hang drywall. It's not perfect, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper than hiring somebody else to do it. So we're hoping all of this is things that we can just do ourselves. So we're hoping that maybe we can, you know, get the house for $75,000 or less. That's kind of my hopes. I feel like that's an equal value of, and this is just assuming the house is gutted. I feel like 75 or less would be more than enough for the value of the property. It sits on 2 acres, and for the 3-car garage that sits on. It's got like a newish garage. It's built in like 2015 or something like that. I don't know. It's a detached 3-car garage, and it's pretty new. So I'm kind of feeling like 75 or less seems fair, in my opinion, for all the work that would need to be done. And then with the 203K loan, we would take out $100,000, and so that would give us the remainder for repairs in the house, which, I mean, again, this is all just wishful thinking on my part for it to work out like this. But and that's without knowing the damages. This is just assuming that it's things that we can do. I don't know. We'll see. He just wiped toaster strudel on me. But yeah, I mean, we're just in the bare minimum stages of getting this figured out. So I'm excited and I'm terrified. The idea of taking on a mortgage is scary, but I'm excited the idea of having a bigger house. So we would definitely have room to do foster care, because it's something that we still want to do. I like the idea of being out in the country, so we have privacy, and so there's room for the kids to run and play. Not that we don't have room here, we do. Okay, but we don't really feel safe here. It's not, you know, it's a rough part of town. There's a lot of gang-related violence that goes on, and there's a lot of drug stuff that goes on, and we're not very far from a liquor store, so the people we get up and down our street and in our back alley are questionable at best. The hot dog car. Okay, we're all just gonna scream at once. Levi always wants to go play out front, and I'm always telling him no because the drunks are out front. Like, and I'm not kidding. Like, you'll see people, including my neighbors, who walk up and down the street holding brown paper bags with liquor bottles inside. And there's liquor, like tiny little shot liquor bottles, all up and down our street in our back alley. It's everywhere. I've even found, I think it was a crack pipe in front of my house. This was about 2 years ago. Yeah, and the people who live next door to us, the house that had the house fire, the folks who lived there originally got evicted, and it turned out that the lady inside, I mean, they got evicted for not paying their bills, but the lady inside was a meth and pill user, and was so messed up that she stopped paying her monthly rent and got evicted. Then they got a new set of people in who were questionable at best, and the house caught fire. So, and then we bought it, and you guys know the rest of the story from there. But as I've told you guys over and over again, it is a rough neighborhood, and I don't feel safe, even though we have like half of our yard, over half of our yard is privacy fence, and then we've got a small amount of chain link. Like, I don't feel safe enough to send Levi outside to play by himself, even though he asks to, just because if somebody from the back alley came up and got him to come to them, he's super friendly, he probably would, they could reach over that fence and pull him out of it. And the area we live in. But, okay, Levi. Believe it or not, you're the only one concerned about watching that Hot Wheels show. Nobody else cares. I know. So, stop that. So anyway, it's just a rough neighborhood, and the school system is not ranked very high. I was looking that up earlier today, and from a 1 to 10 ranking, where 10 is the best, the school he is in now is ranked at a 1, which is the worst ranking you can get. So, a grape one to stick in my throat. So, it would just be nice to have the kids in a better school district and, you know, have a nicer house so we can do the things that we want to do and have privacy. I was playing fetch with my dog about 2 weeks ago, and my neighbors, who I've complained about before, they got random people coming and going all the time. I kind of low-key think that they're buying drugs, or that, you know, like, our neighbors are dealers. I kind of think that they are. They got random people coming up and going all the time. And this guy showed up at the back of their house and went on their back deck, which is tall enough to look over our privacy fence. And y'all ever get that feeling like somebody's watching you? Like, I knew he was up there, but I wasn't thinking anything about it, right? And I'm playing with my dog. And I started getting that feeling, that creepy feeling of like somebody's watching me. And I look up and he's full on staring at me, watching me play fetch with my dog. And at least he had the courtesy after we made eye contact to turn around and walk away and go inside the house. But he was standing up there watching me for a while, 3 or 4 minutes. And it was creepy. I didn't appreciate it. So I'd like to have a place where I'm not being stared at in my backyard with a privacy fence because I wanted privacy, you know? So anyways, I could go on with a mile-long list of reasons why we want to move. I mean, and we love the house we're in. I've always said if we could just pick it up and move it, we would, but that's not really feasible. That's very expensive to do. And the house is old. I don't know how much damage that causes, you know? So, yeah. We'll probably end up using this place as a rental at some point, or we've talked about selling it. I don't know how it's all gonna work out. Levi! You don't need to be that loud.
I'm not loud.
You are very loud.
I want to yell at Ira.
Why are you yelling at Ira?
And I want to play with him.
Well, you can play with him without yelling. It is doable, believe it or not. So anyways, that's my little update, I guess. We've been talking for 23 minutes. I'm going to try to get myself something to eat and, you know, put on a proper shirt. And I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Okay, Levi is at school. Ira is having his lunch. He had a sandwich, and I was having some cheesy crackers because we just eat so healthy. And I'm getting started on my own lunch. I'm gonna have like some nachos. I made up some salsa chicken stuff in the crock pot last night for dinner. And we had chicken salad, like taco salads. And tonight I just want something, or today I just want something easy. So we're heating that up here on the stove because our microwave went out. It's broken. Threw that out in the back alley and it was gone by the next morning. Like, I was literally heating up Ira a cup of milk for bed because he's a little spoiled. He doesn't need to take milk with him to bed anymore, but he likes it, and so we indulge. And, yeah, I just put it on for 45 seconds, and I think it went like 10 seconds, and the whole thing just shut off. It was dead. Deader than a doornail. Wouldn't turn back on. Nothing. We didn't blow the fuse because we were like, the toaster's here too. And they were using the same plug, and we were like swapping them around the plugs and just trying to see if it would come back on in any certain way, and nope. Don't work no more, which is like a 5-year-old microwave, maybe older. think we got that as a wedding gift from my mother-in-law, so it might be closer to 7 or 8-year-old microwave. It still looked really nice though, but it kicked the bucket. So I'm heating up my chicken salsa mixture in a pot here on the stove, which honestly I'm finding that things cook just as quickly on the stove as they do in the microwave. And we were talking about this weekend, because it's funny, because when the microwave went out 2 days ago, it was on Sunday and today's Tuesday. So when the microwave went out, my husband was literally talking about replacing this because it's getting old, it's getting grubby looking. And we were talking about replacing it with a microwave that has the hood range under it. And literally that night our microwave went out. So we were talking about this weekend replacing, getting a new microwave and replacing the hood. But now if we're talking about moving to a new house, we're not sure that we should buy a fancy microwave because the ones that go above the stove are like $300. So now we're like, we don't know if we should make that kind of investment, just turn around and move. And like, it's been 2 days and like, I haven't even missed the microwave at all. I'm more enjoying the extra counter space than I am missing my microwave. So I don't know if we're even gonna bother buying one. Like my dad was willing to come in because this is hardwired into the house, and then the microwaves that you buy use a plug. So we'd have to pull this out. My dad would have to wire in a socket, and then we could mount the microwave. So my dad was willing to come out and do that for us, but now like, I guess we'll see if we get approved for the mortgage because they're working on the approval process right now. So if we get a call and we're approved, we probably will hold off on getting a microwave. But if we're denied, we'll go ahead and get a microwave because might as well, we're gonna be here, So, well, yeah, I'm surprised I'm not missing the microwave more than I am. But when I want to heat something up, like normally when I heat stuff up anyways, like I grab our air fryer a lot. You can see it back there on the shelf. But now, like for little things like my leftovers, like putting them on the stove and cooking them is taking just about as much time as it does in the microwave. So I'm not missing it. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and make up my nachos and eat my lunch. Okay, we were at Levi's school ready for pickup. Got like 15 minutes before he gets out. Yoshi wanted to come on a car ride. Sorry, I had those nachos for lunch and I just feel like I've got, from when I woke up, my throat feeling kind of scratchy, kind of sore. It feels more like something got stuck in it, like a soreness, but like down here, not like up back here, does that make any sense? Like when I get sick, I don't know about you guys, but like when I get sick and have a sore throat, it's always like back up here, normally from like drainage. This is like a soreness down here, like something got stuck earlier and now it's just like sore, which I haven't had anything get stuck, but it just, I don't know, it's just been kind of sore all day, and those nachos and crunchy chips, it did not help. It still feels just a little bit sore. Anyway, that was me. I've got like things coming in. Stop with the notifications, I don't care. Okay, so anyway, I was having a hard time talking a moment ago because I was trying to swallow, trying to soothe my throat a little bit. So we're here waiting for Levi to get out of school. My mom came by to watch Ira so that he's napping, but in case the house catches fire, she's there. So she came by to watch Ira while I come pick up Levi so that Ira can nap a little bit longer, which is really nice. She does that sometimes. So that's really nice to have him be able to get a little bit of a longer nap instead of having to wake him up to go get his big brother, because a lot of times he's grumpy and not happy about having to wake up from his nap. So this normally gives him like an extra half hour to 45 minutes to sleep. And then he's up normally by the time we get back. So, and I have to leave, we're really close to the school, but I have to leave like 15 to 20 minutes early to get here because if you don't get here early, you don't get a good parking spot and you end up parking back by the highway and it's a whole thing. So, and I don't want to have to drag Ira out of the car to walk up to the school because he's heavy and not walking. And I, of course, don't want Levi to run all the way down by the highway to get to the car. So I get here 15 to 20 minutes early and we sit so that when Levi comes out of school, we are right by the doors and I don't have to get Ira out of the car and I can just, load, he can come right to the car and I can load him up, and I just feel like it's safer. So anyways, long spiel there, but anyway, got a call from the loan manager. She called a loan manager or a loan officer. I'm not really sure on the terminology, but she said we should be getting a phone call from, it's kind of weird, like my bank would be managing the loan, but like it's not through my bank, it's through something else, through like some other loan place. I don't know. So I am supposed to be waiting on a phone call. She filled out all of our paperwork for the application, submitted it, and we are supposed to, within the next 24 hours, supposed to get a phone call. And she's like, don't miss that phone call. You need to answer it. I'm like, okay. So we'll find out if we are approved or not for a mortgage, and then we can, if we're approved, to get more information on that house. So I'm like nervous. I'm torn because I know from like a financial standpoint we're better off staying where we are. But then from a safety standpoint, like we don't really feel safe there. Like my mom, when she came over to get came over to watch Ira, there was my neighbors, of course, had 2 cars blocking off half the road. Who knows what they're doing? Drug deal, rap battle, breakdancing. I don't know. I don't think they have breakdancing competitions, but they had 2 cars parked side by side in the middle of the road out front of their house, and they were like hee-hawing around out there and blocking off the road. And thankfully my mom didn't have to go any further than that, but like that's the kind of people they are. They just are inconsiderate and don't care about anybody else around them. So they were blocking off the road, doing whatever the heck they're doing with their car doors open. And then there was a family come walking down the road, and it was like a mom and dad and a little girl, and the dad was carrying a white trash bag that looked like it was just full of clothes. And I couldn't help but question if like maybe they're homeless. Like best case scenario, they had walked to the laundromat and were walking home. But I found it odd because I know they don't live in my street, and I seen the street by the time I left the house, the street that I took to come to Levi's school, like where the laundromat's at, there's so much easier ways to get to that street without coming down my street. So it's kind of like, I'm not so sure that laundry was the reason they were, you know, getting the laundry done was the reason that they were walking. I have a feeling that maybe they don't have a place, maybe they don't have a home, which is really sad. But I'm just trying to get you guys to understand like the area we live in. It's a rough neighborhood. Further that up, there's a little boy in Levi's class that apparently Levi is having some problems with. He was kind of, if you guys watch my vlogs, you know Levi doesn't talk super well. He is in speech therapy. He has a hard time making sentences. So he was trying to talk to me about a little boy in his class named Alexander, and about how he yells at Levi and tickles him and won't stop. And I'm like, well, you need to tell your teacher when that stuff happens. And he's like, well, I do, but it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop it. So I'm summarizing because it was a lot of work to get as much information out of Levi as I did, because again, he don't speak well. So he doesn't always understand questions of like why questions. Well, why is he doing this? Are you doing it too? Like he does not understand why questions for nothing. So I gathered all the information that I could, and I talked to the teacher, and she said, yeah, this Alexander kid, she's like, we work with him a lot. She's like, I cannot divulge other people's personal information, which I understand. But she said, you know, this kid does not understand boundaries. He gets right up in other kids' face. They have to work with him a lot. And she said that him and Levi used to sit next to each other at tables, and now they've been separated. She said, you know, she would consider everybody to be friends, but that this kid's a bit of an instigator, and a lot of times he pulls Levi into the trouble. So there's that. So we had a little conversation about it, and it doesn't sound like there's any like real bullying going on. It sounds more like this little boy just doesn't understand personal boundaries and personal space, which they're like 4-year-olds, so you know. But the way she said we can't divulge personal information just kind of made me think that like maybe this kid has a rougher home life. Like maybe he's got a lot more going on behind the scenes, maybe. So that's just kind of the feeling I got when she made that comment. But who would have thought 2 months into school and here my kid is struggling with, would you really call it bullying? And it's preschool for that. I don't know if you'd really call it bullying, but like here he is struggling with another child. Like, I was just watching Cristin and Randall, and she was talking about how her 4th grader is now having body image problems because the world is getting in, other kids at school can be mean. And she's like, I didn't think it happened in middle school. And like, same girl, okay? I didn't think this stuff would happen in middle school either, but here we have preschoolers. So, I don't know. Yeah, we're just waiting here on drop off, and then I need to swing by the bank and pick my tax documents back up, which I felt really weird just dropping those off, but like, I don't know when else I'm gonna give it to her. So she got everything she needed out of that, so I gotta go pick that up. I guess she doesn't need that other pay stub from my job, so I guess she has enough. I guess 5 other pay stubs was plenty. I'm assuming most people don't have that many sources of income. I don't know. Yeah, so we have to go. I have to go pick that up and then head back home with the kids. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll check in with you guys later. Okay, so we are outside hanging out. So the boys are playing. My mom just left, stopped by to visit for a little bit. We got the word. We qualify for up to a $200,000 loan, which is a lot of money. The mortgage lender guy, I don't really know terminology here, said that those 203K loans I was telling you guys about earlier are more complicated to get. He said he's had them before for properties that he's bought, but the hard part is that you have to find a reliable contractor and the money goes to the contractor, not to you. You can't do the repairs yourself, which is lame. So I don't know how that's all gonna pan out. The little ace up my sleeve here though is that my dad is a licensed contractor and a licensed plumber. He hasn't been in the business for years, but he still holds his licenses. So I don't know if it's a thing where like we could hire him to be our licensed contractor and then like he could hire us to come help him. Like, I don't know, would that be working the system and be illegal? I don't really know how all that pans out. We'd have to find out, like, you know, through the person. And since he doesn't operate a company anymore, like, can we just hire him freelance because he is licensed? I don't know. So that's a lot of things we have to figure out, but we are approved for up to $200,000. Barely. The guy said we were barely approved for that much. He said it'd be a lot better if we looked for something cheaper, just based on our assets and everything that we have, that it was like by the skin of our teeth that we got approved for that. And I told him, I was like, I only asked for 200,000 because I didn't know what else to say, and that seems to be pretty average in our area. So, well, 150 I say is probably closer to average, but I figured ask for more and take less. But we were approved. So he said with contingencies that we don't have enough money to pay for closing costs. So whoever we bought the house from would have to be okay with covering closing costs. And because we only have about, I thought we had 6,500. I guess we have 5,500. I thought we had 6,500, but anyways, as I'm back at my job and working, we'll continue to build more money in our savings because we don't really touch that money, which is one nice thing about how we've been able to set up our finances. And a big part of that is with us living in a free house is that we don't have to use my money for anything. Well, we did for a while, but now that we had our loans consolidated and refinanced, my husband's able to make all of the payments. So YouTube, I pay for our cell phone bill, which is like $300 a month, and I'm making like almost $600 a month on YouTube. So I do make that payment, and that my husband can make the payment, but it makes things tight coming out of his paycheck and just trying to stash away YouTube and my job. And which with YouTube, keep in mind, I haven't worked my job for 6 months because I was furloughed, so we didn't have that income at all. And then with YouTube, I was making the $300 monthly cell phone payment, and then the other $300 that was left over, we were kind of using as like fun money, because we're finally in a place where we've got a lot of stuff paid down, and like we can finally like breathe a little. Like if you've been following me for a while, since Levi was, I don't know, maybe 6 months to a year old, we've been struggling financially. Just we had a lot of debt we had to pay off. I had things going to collections. My husband had filed bankruptcy before I met him with his first wife, and so we had to wait for that to fall off, and we were trying to rebuild his credit, trying to rebuild my credit from having things fall into collections. Like, it's been a struggle for probably the last 4 years, so really longer than that. I mean, we've been trying to rebuild credit since we got together. We've been together 8 years. But as far as like finally getting to the place where like we have less bills and things are out of collections and like our credit is rebuilt enough to be able to apply for a mortgage, like I'd say within the last 4 years. So it's been a lot of penny pinching, a lot of not buying things, a lot of getting the bare minimum on groceries, a lot of throwing extra money at bills like hospital bills, you know, because we had both boys. So we had, I think Levi, we end up paying $8,000 out of pocket to have him. With Ira, we had better insurance. We ended up paying like $2,500. We officially own both of our children now. They cannot be repossessed. We own them. I'm joking. I know you can't own a human being. Somebody out there is gonna be, you can't own people. I get it. I'm making a joke. But when you put that much money into paying somebody's bills, I own your ass. Like, for the next 18 years, we have to, like, what are you going to do? If I didn't pay them hospital bills, you going to repo the baby? Like, what happens there? My hair is crazy. This wind is not helping, and my clip is not helping either. So, yeah, it's just been it's been a struggle. Like the last 4 years, we've really hit it hard with trying just to repay debt, and it's paying off. I mean, now we're in the place where like we have a little fun money and we can take out a mortgage. And like I said, now we don't need the money that I make from my weekend job. We were even talking about me quitting it. Now, if we go and buy a new house, I will not be able to quit my job. We're gonna need it, unless YouTube wants to pick up and I start making $1,000 a month on YouTube. Because right now, between YouTube and my job on the weekends, I make right around $1,000. So, yeah, unless YouTube wants to come through for me, I'm not gonna be quitting that job anytime soon. But yeah, it's exciting. It is exciting to finally be, just even if we don't buy anything, just knowing that we can, knowing that we have the ability to, knowing that all of our hard work has paid off to the point that we could get a mortgage if we wanted one. Because when we moved in here 5 years ago, wouldn't have happened. We moved in here because we had no place else to go. Like, seriously. And the original plan was to live with my grandma and help take care of her, and then her health just majorly declined, and